Listen, Ecamp, I love you, but you gotta fix this shit, bruh. Like I keep losing my stream after however many minutes. If you're listening to audio, it doesn't bother you, but it pisses me off. Okay, that really bothered me. I need to calm down. I'm trying to really work on my anger. I got mad today. I've been mad a lot this week, okay? So I'm trying to work on my anger. I'm going to settle down a little bit, pick my fight here. It's my send him home. If you guys didn't hear that, okay? Send him home.
Send him home. Send him home early.
It's kind of an odd pick. Dusko Dorovic doesn't have the most wins by knockout. He has an okay judo game. A lot of people are picking this fight by decision. I'm sure Dusko by knockout, Dusko by some kind of submission is very high. I am definitely going to take that. This is a fight that I'm not super confident in. I don't love the chalk here, but if you're getting great value on some kind of finish, that's why I kind of played it here. I think Dusko's going to win. I think he's the better fighter right now. I think he's a little more confident. I think Mackie is second guessing himself. I also think he's a little bit better at 185, like more suited for 185. But Mackie still got coconut bombs. I mean, that's just a fucking dope nickname. You know what I mean? You got coconut bombs the rest of your life, and that's pretty fucking dope right there. All right, fight 10: Bryan Barberena -152 versus Darian Weeks +124. This fight came together relatively recent. Bryan Barberena was supposed to fight Matt Brown. Matt Brown tested for COVID. Darian Weeks was supposed to fight on the Contender Series. He tested for COVID. He was supposed to fight Josh Quinlan, who got busted for all types of steroids. So Darian Weeks kind of dodged a bullet there. But this is an interesting fight here because Bryan Barberena is washed. This dude is washed. Horrible back surgery. Came back. Hasn't looked the same. His chin's not there. His punching power is always going to be there. So that's never going to go away. His takedown defense is non-existent. He's got some good chokes in there. He's a vet in there. He's tough. I know I said his chin's gone, but his chin's not like fucking Luke Rockhold. Okay. He still can take a shot, but not like he used to. And this picture I'm staring at, he's got this horrible fucking rash or scar on his belly. Only a guy like Bryan Barberena can pull off a fucking belly rash like that on his UFC profile picture. Darian Weeks, a guy I dove into a little bit here. Obviously, I knew he was supposed to fight in a Contender Series, but I didn't really look up tape on him. Looked up tape on him. Seems a little stiff, seems a little rigid, but seems powerful, right? Is a pro boxer. He's 1-on-1. I hate using that. I hate saying, oh, he's a pro boxer. He's 1-on-1. I mean, he's 1-on-1. I mean, that's not like he's 12-0. It's not like he's fucking, Clay Collard. He's not that pro boxer. He's 1-on-1. But he does have some good stand up. He's powerful. He's strong. He's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu with 10 Planet, which if that means anything, I don't think it will in this fight. I think this fight's going to play on the feet. Bryan Barberena just still has power. He's quick. He doesn't load up on any of his punches. His punches they come from straight. Boom, 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 boom. They're really quick. They're really fast. But he likes to take a shot. I think Weeks is aggressive. Everything I've seen him so far, he's aggressive. He's young. He's only had, how many fights has he had? Like 5, right? What are we at here? I know they moved the card around. So sorry if you're looking at Topology, like, what the fuck? There it is. He's 5-0, right? Hasn't fought anybody. His record is very padded, but he's got something to him for being an underdog that I like. I'm going to take him as the underdog here at +124. This line's moving as well. I don't even know if Weeks is in the plus column. I just think Bryan Barberena is so washed. I think he's going to go out there. I think he's going to want to stand with this kid. I think this kid's going to bull him around a little bit. As long as Weeks has some good takedown defense, because I think Bryan Barberena is going to maybe want to mix it up. He fucking got 8 takedowns against him against fucking Jason Witt or something crazy. He got 15 takedowns. I don't know what it was. Jason Witt took him down every which way. And Bryan Barberena didn't really have much off his back. Has a decent choke, has a good darce, has a good guillotine. Hopefully Weeks, just comes out and blitzes him and just wants to take him out. But it's kind of what Sage Northcutt did a few years ago, but that was the old Bryan Barberena. I'm not buying. I mean, that was Bryan Barberena when he was in Arizona training with the lab. Now he's in Nashville. He doesn't go to Arizona anymore. That was Bryan Barberena before the back injury. Now he's got a horrible back. Matt Brown was a perfect fight. Both these guys, Matt Brown's in his 40s. Both these guys have back injuries. They would have went out there. They would have banged it out. Darian Weeks is a 100 guy. He was supposed to fight the Contender Series, never got a shot. COVID pulled him. Gets a shot here on short notice. He's hungry. He wants to come out there. He wants to win. I like him probably by finish, if I'm being honest with you. He's got some knockouts on his record. I know against nobodies. I know he hasn't fought anybody. I get it. But I think he comes out here and he really cracks Bryan Barberena just because the motherfucker's gone. The dude's gone now. Next up, here we go. All right, this one's gonna take a little bit because this is obviously the fight I've been thinking about the most. Brendan Allen, minus 365 versus the Action Man, King of Combat, Chris Curtis, plus 270. Chris Curtis taking this fight on short notice because it was supposed to be Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares pulled out. Then it was supposed to be Roman Dolidze. Dolidze's got COVID. Brendan Allen or Chris Curtis said, yeah, I'll take the fight. Steps up. There's a lot of layers to this fight. A lot of layers. The one layer that I had brought up last time Brendan Allen fought, because I like Brendan Allen, right? He's going against my guy, so obviously, what are you gonna do? And I'm not, if you're watching the YouTube stream, it's Chris Curtis all the way. I just picked him. He's gonna win the fight. That's my pick. And not only is he my pick, but nope.
We need more dogs.
We need more dogs, and Chris Curtis is a big dog. So he's my dog lock. I'm picking him. So let me get through the layers, if you will. Brendan Allen, a guy I like, young kid, 25, good fighter, right? His only knockout loss, I think, in his career was to Sean Strickland. And ever since that knockout loss, 2 or 3 fights ago, I think it was 3 fights ago, he's on a 2-fight winning streak. Ever since that knockout loss to Strickland, Strickland's like a high-level fighter, no big deal, right? It didn't seem there was that much bad blood between them. He comes out, wins. I want to fight Sean Strickland again. Okay, buddy, that's not how it works. Sean's not the champion, right? Sean beat you to progress towards the title. You can't just get a rematch because you're like, I had a bad night. I want to fight him. Calls him out immediately. Gets on a podcast, calls him out again. Goes to a press conference, calls him out again. Then he fights Carl Robertson or Poliana Serrano. One of those, whatever. Beats him. Calls out fucking Sean Strickland again in the octagon. Calls him out post-fight. Calls him out on podcasts, on Twitter, on wherever you can. He's calling this guy. He's obsessed with this, right? And you got to get over it because they're not going to. There was no foul play. Sean knocked you out clean. TKO'd you, knocked you out clean. He beat you clean. There's no foul play. There's no cheating. There's no missed weight. You can't get that one back until one of you become closer to the title. So it was so obnoxious that he kept doing this when it was never going to happen. He's a little delusional, right? Good fighter, delusional. Enter my guy, Chris Curtis. Coming off a first-round knockout of Phil Hall's UFC debut. Phil Hall's was undefeated in UFC. Chris Curtis was a huge underdog. Yada, yada, yada. Made a lot of money off of him. I love you, Chris. Whatever. Chris goes, okay, I'm going to go back down to 170. Not a big guy. Chris isn't built for 185. Muscular, but not big, short. He at the press conference, I'm going to go back to 70, right? I'm not going to rule out 85. I'm going to go back to 70. They call him up. They're like, hey, we got this fight. Yes, I live in Vegas. I'll take it. Why not? I only got a little bit of bruises from Phil Hall's, not hurt. I'll take this fight. Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis are best friends. Sean Strickland is Chris Curtis's main training partner. Sean Strickland is Chris Curtis's chief corner. If you've ever seen Chris fight outside the UFC and when Sean is fighting and it's a smaller crowd, Sean is cornering in a smaller crowd, all you hear is Sean Strickland. He's got a gravelly voice and it cuts through. They're fighting in the apex. Brendan Allen is obsessed with Sean Strickland. He is overlooking Chris Curtis because he wants to make a statement to beat Chris Curtis, Sean Strickland's right-hand man, to get to Sean Strickland. He wants some kind of angle to be like, now I beat your guy, I want you again, right? But the problem is you just don't do that to Chris. You're not going to steamroll Chris. Chris is a veteran. He's got more fights than Brendan Allen. He's older than Brendan Allen. He's got more finishes than Brendan Allen. The only advantage Brendan Allen has, in my opinion, is he's got the size. He's 6'2", but the reach is the same. And he's got the ground game. Chris has only been submitted one time in his his MMA career, but Tom Galicchio a million years ago. Pretty good on the ground, pretty good submission defense. I don't think Brendan Allen's going to have a really good shot at getting it to the ground. Brendan Allen's wrestling isn't super great. I think Chris's takedown defense has struggled in the past, but I think he's really cleaned it up. Striking is going to come down to striking. Brendan Allen moved to Stanford MMA. He's striking a little bit more. The Poliana Serrano fight, he struck. Carl Roberson struck until he took him down, submitted him, right? With Chris, I think he's going to want to strike. He thinks he's the longer guy. Chris is going to need to close the distance with, even though they have the same reach, the height advantage is there for Brendan Allen. Brendan's a solid guy, right? But Chris is a better striker than Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland may hit harder, maybe like a one-punch knockout, but Chris Curtis is a better striker. Better, more technical. Chris needs to come out here and he needs to fucking not drop the first round. He always drops the first round. He slows down, he just drops the first round, then he comes on. This is going to go 3 rounds probably. Brendan Allen is a durable dude. I don't see him knocking out Chris. I don't really see him getting Chris down. I think he could submit Chris if I'm being completely unbiased, because I do think he is slick on the ground. I do think he has that ability to submit Chris. His rear naked chokes money. He's got leg locks. He's got a lot of really tricky stuff. I just don't think it's going to go there. I think Chris is going to be smart enough to keep this fight on the feet. I think his takedown defense is going to hold up, and I think he's going to stall out Brendan Allen. At first round, I want Chris to come out a little more aggressive. I want him to lead the dance. I don't want him to counter against Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's a longer guy. You got to close the distance. You got to work the body. I would love to see some leg kicks. Chris doesn't kick a lot. Brendan Allen's legs are there, baby. I watched a lot of fights. His legs are there. 1-2 body. If you don't do body, end on the leg. Break this guy down. I see Chris winning this fight, maybe third round stoppage, if that, if not a decision, close decision. I like Brendan Allen. I don't want to shit on Brendan Allen like I did Phil Hawes, right? Brendan Allen is a very good fighter. He's a young fighter, has a lot of good skills, but I just think this is Chris's time. He's had over 30 fights. He's fought every style. He has sparred every style. 6'2", being undersized and for this fight is nothing to him, right? He's looking sharp. He's posting stuff on Instagram where he's working the mitts with his boxing coach. He's looking really sharp. He works the body so well. And, I know Phil Hawes has a little bit of a chin issue. Brendan Allen, I wouldn't say has a chin issue. He has been knocked out before. And if Sean Strickland can find it, I think Chris Curtis can find it. So I'm going to Chris Curtis. Plus 270 is fucking gorgeous. It is, your mom's fucking meatballs gorgeous, baby. I love it. Next up, Jimmy Crute. Minus 184 versus Jamal Hill, plus 148. I did something a little different here. Right? If you've been with me for a long time, you know I don't like Jimmy Crute, right? He lost me a lot of money many years ago. I have since buried the hatchet with Jimmy Crute. Both these guys are coming off a kind of a weird loss. Jamal Hill got his elbow dislocated against Paul Craig. Jimmy Crute got his fucking foot dropped, leg dead against Anthony Smith. Now they're fighting. Jamal Hill, I like this guy's confidence. It's infectious. Follow him on Twitter. I love his confidence. His confidence, though, unfortunately, this is the reason he lost to Paul Craig. He followed Paul Craig to the ground. He defended the first armbar. He's like, fuck this. I defend this first armbar. This guy, elbow gone. You know what I mean? That's exactly what happened. But his striking is very good. He's a tricky southpaw. He's long for the division. Jimmy Crute is a grappler. He's trying to be a striker. I think his head coach, where he comes from, is more of a striking camp. He does have a good knockout over Modestas Bukakis. Who gives a fuck, right? That means nothing to me. Jimmy wings punches. He's durable. He's tough. He's the brute. He's going to have to get this fight to the ground. He's going to have to take Jamal Hill down. He's going to have to rough him up. I think he's the stronger guy. Jamal Hill is tall and lanky for this division. But if Jimmy Crute wants to stand there with Jamal Hill, he's going to get fucking a left piston. He's going to get sharpshooted over and over and over again. Jimmy's going to need to close the distance, get this fight to the ground. And I think he can do that. I'm actually going to go Jimmy Crute. I never pick Jimmy Crute. I don't like this on a betting standpoint, though. I think this fight's very close. I think all the value is on Jamal Hill. I would encourage people maybe to pick Jamal Hill. I know that's contradictive of what I'm saying, but I'm a walking contradiction. But I just think in my head, the way I break down this fight, I think Jimmy Crute is going to have a little bit of a problem in the beginning, right? Jamal Hill's very active with his hands, has a good body kick. And then when Jimmy figures him out, I think once he gets him to the ground, Jamal Hill's very confident in jiu-jitsu. He said, leading up to the Paul Craig fight, I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter. That's what my first base was. But I think when Jimmy's on top, I feel like the fucking guy from Seinfeld. I keep saying Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. I like the Brute Crute. I never pick him. And listen, let me tell you something right now, okay? I'm not going to bet this fight. This is just a pick, right? I'm not betting this fight. But if Jimmy loses, he's back in the graveyard, okay? I can't just keep picking the guy, but I do think he's going to win. This is going to be a good fight. I actually really like this matchmaking here by the old UFC. All right, Clay Guida, plus 154 versus Leo Santos, minus 192. This is weird for me because I always fade Clay Guida, right? And I don't like Santos. He's 41. He doesn't fight actively, right? Great jiu-jitsu. I think his stand-up is okay as well, but I don't love the guy. But when I saw this fight get booked and when it's on my card, I immediately circled Santos. I'm so high on this since Santos in this fight. I think Clay has no chance to win. Santos is a big guy for 55. Clay's undersized. His striking's pretty good, and his ground game is bar none. Clay gets submitted now. He gets choked out. He gives him his neck. If he wants to wrestle, Clay, what fight doesn't Clay want to wrestle? He can't stand up with this guy because this guy can piece him up. The only issue I have with betting a lot on Santos would be the cardio. He's got no fucking cardio. Could he catch club and sub? Could he catch Clay and take him down, submit him with the neck? Maybe. This guy's lights on the ground, but I'm struggling to find how Clay wins this fight. I don't think Clay wants to wrestle. I think he's going to have a more hard time standing up than he realizes, because he did look good against Mark Madsen, a fight that was very close that he lost. He did look good standing up. He caught Madsen with some good shots. Santos, though, is so much bigger, longer, and his striking's okay. It's not bad, and he has some power. He's hurt people with his punches before. So I'm all over Santos. This jumped off the page to me. I don't know why. I know I always fade Guida, so I really had to look in and go, okay, is it because I have distaste for Guida, or is this how do I really see the fight going? So then when I dove in a little deeper, being the fucking sharp that I am, I'm like, I don't know how Clay wins. Besides a fluke punch, and then obviously Santos could gas if it goes long, but I think Santos is going to hit him when he wants, and I think if this fight goes to the ground, I think Clay's going to get submitted. I mean, I don't understand how it could go either way. The only way it could go is Santos never fights and he's 40-something years old. So that obviously could have something to do with it as well. But I like Santos. All right, co-main event, amazing fight. Hafiz versus Brad Riddell. Hafiz is a -118. Riddell is a -104. Absolute bang of a fight. Yeah, so this is just your classic case of two Muay Thai guys. Both have spent a lot of time over in Thailand. Both have fought multiple Muay Thai fights. I believe at one point Fizev was the coach of Riddell. There's some kind of history there. They're friendly with each other. I made the mistake. I rode Brad Riddell's coattails his entire UFC career, and he's won. He's undefeated in the UFC, and he's made me some money. And I switched on him and fucking went Drew Dober's last time out because I thought Drew Dober was the more powerful guy. He clipped Riddell, but Riddell's resilient and his technique was so much better than Dober, and then clipped Dober. I mean, Dober's got a fucking cement head with that granite chin, so it didn't matter. But Riddell can fucking crack. He doesn't have the biggest power in the world, but his technique and everything's so perfect. He enter Fiziev, who's looked pretty good, right? I don't love his hands. His kicks are great. I mean, he does have good hands, obviously. I think Riddell's going to have the better hands. I think Fiziev's going to have the better kicks. I think Riddell can mix it up a little bit better. I don't think he will, but I think he can. I think he's really evolving into a really good mixed martial artist. I think Fiziev is still relying on he's working on his takedowns, obviously, and he's still relying on I think he's like some kind of Sambo guy. I do think he has a grappling background, but does he? He's relying on his quick twitch muscle and his stand up to get him by. I thought he lost to Bobby Green. I had him in that fight. I bet him. I had him in a parlay. I thought he lost to Bobby Green. I did. I truly did. I thought he lost that fight. I thought he gassed out, didn't throw enough punches. Bobby Green is a tricky guy, but enter Brad Riddell. A lot of times when these high level strikers get together, they kind of cancel each other out a little bit. It's fucking shot for shot. They know their techniques. It almost is going to look like a sparring match. However, I think Brad Riddell has that little bit of fucking nasty prick in him. I think Riddell can turn it up a little bit. I think this is going to remind me a lot of the Drew Dober fight, right? Because, Fiziev's a more high-level fighter than Drew Dober. Drew Dober's a Muay Thai fighter as well. I think Riddell's going to fucking come after him a little bit harder. I think he has to watch the kicks, right? Fiziev does have great kicks. The cardio's on Riddell's side. I think the overall MMA game is on Riddell's side. I like the number to pick a fight. I'm going Brad Riddell. I'm going back to the well with Brad Riddell. Fucking Dr. Seuss tonight. I just never been blown away by Fiziev. I know he has some cool knockouts, and everyone's like, no one wants to fight this guy at 155. I kind of disagreed. I thought people still would want to fight him. I think his striking is very, very good. I don't want to shit on him, but I didn't think he was the boogeyman. I don't think he was Chimaev in this division. Like, at one point, people thought he was. I don't think he is. I think he got exposed a little bit with his cardio in the Bobby Green fight. I think, once you get out of that first round, the power's kind of gone from this guy. And Brad Riddell's gone 3 hard rounds with a lot of fighters in there. I like Brad Riddell in this fight. I like it so much that I'm betting it. I like Brad Riddell at that spot. All right, main event. I love this fucking main event, guys. This is a fantastic main event. Rob Font, -154 versus Jose Aldo, +126. Man, listen, I've never really correctly, 2 things. I can't get Jose Aldo fights right? My track record's horrible, and I've never properly given him the respect he deserves. The King of Rio, one of the best 145 pounds of all time. I have to eat crow because I thought it was a horrible idea for him to make go down to 135 because he was struggling at 45. People were talking about him going up, and then he cuts down to 40 or 35, makes a whole complete lifestyle change. His cardio's great. He looks great. He's the bigger guy in there. His speed's still there. His twitch muscle's still there. I mean, some of the gifs and little compilations I've seen of him blocking calf kicks, just a quick. I mean, it's impressive. Enter Rob Font. This guy has worked his ass off to be where he's at. I like that. Came in the UFC, not highly touted, just a Boston kid. Tyson Chartier is his coach. Had a little hype around him. Calvin Kattar had a little bit more. Font, though, worked his ass off. He looked really good against Cody Garbrandt. I know a lot of people see red flags because he couldn't finish Cody when Cody's got a bad chin, but he hurt Cody a lot. Threw a lot of punches. I think that's the path to victory against Aldo is volume. That's what you do. Aldo looked really good against Petriano, and Petriano figured him out, broke him down to the body, and then ended up finishing him. Jose Aldo looked really good against Chito Vera. He decided to wrestle a little bit. Chito started figuring him out, and then Aldo jumped to his back and said, "Oh yeah, I'm a black belt too, and you can't get me off your back." You know, his best performance was against Pedro Munoz, where he landed a lot of leg kicks, which we all want to see. And Pedro was confident in that fight, and Pedro admitted, like, he's like, "I was a step behind. Like, this dude's fucking good." So Aldo is right there in the pocket. People forget how fucking young he is. He started fighting when he's like 12. He's a year younger than Rob Font, or a year older than Rob Font. You know, you would think he's 10 years older than Rob Font. But the problem is Rob Font's long, his jab, you know, his body type reminds me of Max Holloway a little bit. He's going to throw a lot of jabs out there. He's going to keep him at distance. Jose Aldo's working his boxing with, I think, the Naval Academy or something. Who is he working with? He's working with someone in boxing down there in Brazil, and he said it really motivated him, jumpstarted his career again. And really, in his boxing has looked good. It looked really good against Petriano, but Petriano, I think, might be the best boxer in the UFC. He took over. He made the reads. Looked really good against Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz might have the best chin in the UFC. Some guys might have fell for that fight because he was landing a lot of mixed up punches and kicks in that fight. Jose Aldo looked fantastic. Chito Vera, I don't think he looked fantastic, but he got the job done. He won what he had to win. Aldo's a guy that if he wins once, you know, he'd be fighting for the title. I mean, he can get the winner. I think could fight for the title, but you obviously got to see what happens with TJ Dillashaw. You got to see what happens, whatever. Winner could fight Corey Sandhagen, which I love. A lot of options for both these guys. Long story short, I'm going Rob Font. And I'm going Rob Font here strictly because I think the volume's going to be the bigger issue here. I think Jose is going to look really good in the beginning. I think his speed's going to be tough. But I think Rob Font's volume, his length, and his overall boxing ability is going to be good. I think he needs to mix it up. I think he needs to watch his kicks. He needs to mix it up to the body. I don't think he needs to, because the best counter for a jab when you're Jose Aldo is a left kick or, you know, a calf kick or whatever. So you got to be mindful of that. And obviously they're working with him. He comes from a good camp. Tyson Chartier, I think, is a good coach. But I like Rob Font in this fight. I like Rob Font piecing them up on the feet, working the body a little bit. It's good to go long. I know there's like a what's happening right now with these fucking 5-round main events going to a decision. It's an absurd number. I see this fight going to decision as well. I see Jose maybe winning some of the earlier round 1, maybe first half of round 2, and then Font taking over. Jose has proven to show some pretty good cardio at 135, but Rob puts a pace on you. And I don't know if he can handle that pace, Jose Aldo does. So I'm going to go Rob Font. That's it. That's the card. It feels good to be back. I will admit, boys, I was a little distracted. I got this fucking setup here, which I don't want to get into. The fucking eCam going to YouTube crashed again. So no, I got 2 fucking streams I got to fix. It's a nightmare. I got to figure some stuff out, right? We got to figure some stuff out. Little things like that Little problems like that drive me absolutely fucking nuts because I'm nuts. Okay. But listen, I'll tweet out my picks. Obviously follow me on Bet MMA Tips. Yeah, that's it. That's the fight. That's the fight game, baby. Awesome fights this weekend. I cannot wait. Follow me on social media, MMA Takes Podcast everywhere. Let's go.